Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to the show. And did you know that according to the Wycliffe Global Alliance, as of 2016, the Bible or parts of the Bible have been translated into more than 3,200 languages? Also, there is known translation work and or language development taking place in 2,400 languages across more than 165 countries. And that's just one of the things about the book of the Bible that I bet you didn't know. The Bible is broken up into two major sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The word testament means covenant, so the Old Testament is about God and the people of God under the Old Covenant, and the New Testament is about God and the people of God under the New Covenant, which was inaugurated by Jesus. The Bible is a collection of 66 books. There are 39 books in the Old Testament and 27 books in the New Testament. The books of the Bible are grouped into sections, according to genre. There's the Law, which contains the books Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Then there's History, which contains the books Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. Then comes the books of wisdom, which are sometimes called the books of poetry. They include the books of Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon, which is also known as the Song of Songs. Next, we have the major prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, and Daniel. Finally, we have the minor prophets, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. The Jewish Bible contains only what the Christians call the Old Testament. In the Jewish Bible, the order and the groupings of the books are different. There are only three groups, the Law, the Prophets, and the Writings. The Law in the Jewish Bible contains the same books as the Law in the English Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The prophets are divided into the former prophets and the latter prophets. The former prophets are Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings. The latter prophets are Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and the Book of the 12, which contains all of what the English Bible calls the minor prophets. Everything else is in the writings: Psalms, Proverbs, Job, Song of Solomon, Ruth, Lamentations, Ecclesiastes, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Chronicles. The genres of the New Testament start with the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Then comes history, which is just the book of Acts. Acts was written by Luke as a continuation of his gospel, so a lot of times you'll hear scholars talk about Luke Acts. Next come the Pauline epistles, which are letters written by the Apostle Paul: Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, and Philemon. These letters are arranged by length, longest to shortest. Here's a tip. If you're having trouble remembering the Pauline books in the middle of that list, just think, go eat popcorn. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. Go eat popcorn. Next come the general epistles, also arranged by length, which are letters written by not Paul: Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and Jude. In the Old Testament, some books were split into two because of their length. In reality, there's only one book of Samuel, one book of Kings, etc. So it might be helpful to think of these as volumes: Samuel Volume 1 and Samuel Volume 2, Kings Volume 1 and Kings Volume 2, etc. Second or third books in the New Testament, like 2 Corinthians or 2 Timothy or 3 John, are all letters. They're distinct books, but they're letters that were written to the same place or person as another letter, so you need the numbers to tell them apart. The book of Psalms has the most chapters, 150. 5 books contain only one chapter: Obadiah, Philemon, 2nd and 3rd John, and Jude. The longest chapter is Psalm 119. The shortest chapter is Psalm 117. The shortest verse in the whole Bible is John 11:35. Jesus wept. The longest verse is Esther 8:9. At once the royal secretaries were summoned, on the 23rd day of the 3rd month, the month of Sivan. They wrote out all Mordecai's orders to the Jews, and to the satraps, governors, and nobles of the 127 provinces stretching from India to Cush. These orders were written in the script of each province and the language of each people, and also to the Jews in their own script and language. You didn't think I was going to memorize that, right? The shortest book is 3rd John, 219 words in the Greek. And the longest by words is Jeremiah, 33,002 words in the Hebrew. However, if we reconnect the split books, Kings would be the longest. But if we take the whole of the law as one book, the Torah, then it would be the longest. For the most part, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, and the New Testament was written in Greek. The Greek of the New Testament is called Koine Greek, which was the Greek that was spoken by the common people. In the Old Testament, Genesis, Ezra, Daniel, and Jeremiah have parts of them written in Aramaic. Aramaic is a language related to Hebrew that eventually took the place of Hebrew as the spoken language of the Jewish people. Aramaic is almost certainly the language Jesus spoke every day. Sometimes the Gospels tell us the Aramaic words that Jesus spoke and then translate them into Greek, like in Mark 14:36, where Abba is translated to mean father. Or in Matthew 5:22, we get the word raka, meaning fool. And when Jesus was on the cross, Matthew 27:46 has him saying, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? The Bible was written on 3 different continents. Most of it was written in Israel, which is in Asia. Parts of Jeremiah were written in Egypt, which is in Africa, and some of the New Testament epistles, like Romans or the letters of Peter, were written in Greece and Rome, which is in Europe. The New Testament indicates the author of every book except for one, Hebrews. Some possible writers people have suggested are Paul, Luke, Barnabas, Apollos, and Priscilla. The Bible was actually written by a pretty diverse set of people. Ezekiel was a priest. Solomon was a king. Before he became king, David was a shepherd. Amos, one of the minor prophets, was also a shepherd. Luke was a doctor. Peter and John were fishermen. Paul was a Pharisee, but his trade was tent making. Asaph, who wrote some of the Psalms, was a musician who was appointed by David to play music to praise the Lord and minister before the Ark of the Covenant. And finally, I bet you didn't know that the word Christian is in the Bible only 3 times, in Acts 11:26, Acts 26:28, and 1 Peter 4:16. Thanks for watching. Hope you had some fun, maybe learned some things. If you have a suggestion for a future show, leave it in the comments and I'll see what I can do. So, until next time, may your toast always land butter side up. Bye.